Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to another episode 5 of the Offlane. I'm Topical, joined with me is Bottom of the Moon. Jonas, how you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. Lots of stuff happened. Lots of stuff. We have the full season pretty much over. Only the biggie in the room, the elephant is still there to take.
Well, yeah, the season's definitely over at this point. Now it's you're right. It's the crown jewel. The international is going to be upon us soon enough. And we'll be talking about that extensively is the build up and right we're at now. We've built a huge foundation for the international throughout the entire season, and now we're starting to put some of the finer details into it. We've got all the top 8 teams out of the DPC have qualified. We're now filling in all the gaps with 10 additional teams that are going to be making it into the open qualifiers.
Yeah, 10 additional in the open qualifiers. Among them, in the close qualifiers, among them is Optic after getting beaten down by Virtus Pro, not getting that slot in the Super Major. That was one thing to watch out for. I really was hoping that VP makes a misstep and they make it through and they push VGJ out of the DPC, but didn't happen in the end. So instead, they got to go through the close qualifiers.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to jump the shark, and us run out of our topics. But our summary today is the DPC summary. Then we're going to go into TI invite distribution, DPC and TI conclusions at that, and then open qualifier favorites that we suspect are teams that everybody should be keeping an eye on. So that's going to be kind of our pace of the game so far. And let's just go ahead and start it off with the DPC summary.
Yeah, DPC summary. So let's go through the invites. Gonna run really quick. Invited GTI are Virtus Pro, Team Liquid, LGD, Team Secret, Mineski, Vici, Newbie, and VGJ Thunder. I think 6 of them are really no surprise. The teams we kind of everybody expected, especially 4 of them just finishing in the top 4 of the Super Major, which is kind of like the mini DAC, which is the mini international. So it's like a quarter international, you could say.
Now, I mean, there wasn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think there was another Super Major in the season, right? It was just the one.
There was DAC. The DAC, the Asia Championship, way in the season, which had the similar prize pool of 1 million, but it's kind of regarded as the Eastern TI for the Chinese scene, with lots of Chinese teams attending and lots of viewership as well. So it's like it kind of is up there. It's a little bit weird.
Okay, but so yeah. It's not per se. I mean, it's favored heavier towards the Chinese teams or the Southeast Asia teams, is what you're saying, right?
Wouldn't say favored. It just really has that feeling. Like the Super Major, it was the China Super Major, and it was themed about that. And same applies to DAC. Just lots of good Chinese teams. And it kind of has that feeling. Like every major has it, wherever it is based. Well, DAC is just happening over there, so it's kind of Eastern themed.
Okay, all right then. But now that we're through that entire season, whether it was Super Major, Minors, Majors, it doesn't matter. It's all concluded. And you mentioned the teams that have punched their tickets towards Vancouver, which is where the international is actually going to be held this year, which was a little bit of surprise to me. But from what I understand, Key Arena, where it had been previously held, I've heard it was under construction or revamping, refurbishment, whatever. So they shifted it just north into Canada.
Yeah, into like the other freedom country, you could say. I'm pretty sure you have a bad joke about that one, but we're gonna.
Yeah, it's just a hat in the United States. Yeah.
Wow, that's rude. But yeah, Rogers Arena, as far as I know, August 20 to 25 is the main event in Vancouver.
Okay.
I know. I like the location. It's a little bit closer, just a little bit. It's a little bit closer in terms of like I don't need that complicated visas over there, and I think a lot of players feel the same because it's easier to get a visa to Canada than to the US.
Is it really? I wouldn't know. I'm too close to the picture to ever realize that.
Visa? Well, how do you spell that?
Yeah, why do I need one of these? I mean, I've done work overseas in the UK specifically, but I've never needed like a visa to do that. It's just like it was an American company working overseas, so it was never a problem.
I don't know. I got a German passport. I usually don't have any problems, so that's fine for me as well. But yeah, let's talk about the invites. I'd say because we have almost all the close to almost all. We have some close qualifiers invites for the region's perspective. So in China, sole invitee is Invictus Gaming. Keep in mind, all of these regions feature 6 open qualifier slots. So in every region, there's 6 qualifiers around and face it, where literally everybody, even you and me, Dallas, we could technically make a Dota team. We'll horribly fail, but we could try and could punch a ticket to TI. Just saying, it's definitely possible.
If a Cinderin stack is an example of anybody
don't do that.
of anybody being able to make a team and still not making it, I'm not gonna have high hopes for us.
Man, you gotta be more confident. We can at least beat EG because EG can't beat anyone. Right?
That's right.
Gotta go with that.
Safe around.
But yeah. All right. So China starting out 6 open qualifier slots. They punched the ticket with 2 slots to TTI. So out of these 6 plus Invictus Gaming, 7, 2 of them will go further. It's kind of the same for the Southeast Asia region. There's TNC Predator as well as Fnatic invited, 6 open qualifier slots there as well. 2 punch the ticket through. So 8 total teams, 2 go through. Now we have NA. Here we go. So invited are Optic Gaming and Immortals. Then the usual 6 open qualifier slots are up and running. And we have 3 slots for NA. Why?
Why not is a great question. So a lot of people were a little upset about this, but at the same time, there's an excuse and there's no excuse, I think, if you look at it a couple ways. From Valve's perspective, their major viewership is North America, China. Okay? Get a lot of Chinese teams that are already qualified in and some more that were going to be coming in. And then NA as well, you want to be able to catch a lot of your English speaking, especially virtually hometown where the international is going to be held. That's one perspective of it. They want to have more teams that are involved in it that are going to grab more viewership, which brings in more attention to the game, more money into the game. So as a whole, from a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense.
I think the only real approaches is that if you look at the direct invites, there's already 4 Chinese teams in it. We have 2 European teams, Liquid Secret. We have Mineski from C and Virtus Pro from CIS. So that's a total of like 5 slots for China, and NA and SA together have only 1 slot already directly invited. So kind of out. So I feel like giving NA 3 slots is kind of justified, but I still want some justice for CIS because there's so many teams in that region, and we're going to run through close qualifiers really quick in a second. There's so many teams. I really feel like the CIS region deserves 1 more, just that 1 slot. Like maybe even reduce the Chinese invites to like 1 slot and relocate it over there. Because in the CIS qualifiers right now we have Vegas Squadron and Fly to Moon, and yeah, then we have 6 open qualifier slots. So you have a total of 8 teams battling for 1 slot in a region where at least 6 to 7 of these teams will be absolutely on par with each other. So it's going to be absolutely a slaughterhouse.
Well, so the cybersport.com actually had a really good article about that as well. Just because there's a even playing field in the CIS region doesn't mean that it's a high skill cap to those teams. Those teams are beating the hell out of each other. That's basically what this article described. But it doesn't really say that, hey, any of these teams can really dominate one team or another from the United States or from China. They've already got Virtus Pro, who's been stomping on everybody left, right, and center.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind if, say, NA gave 1 spot from 3 to 2, and that one went over to CIS and went from 1 to 2. Fine, but I don't see any real standout performance from the CIS region that would warrant the fact that they need more slots.
Well, I would argue that looking at NA, there's not that much standard performance there as well. Like we've seen the NA teams all struggling. Like that's the same argument, just on lower levels. So you can compare them. Yes, within each other, like if NA teams fight against NA teams, they beat each other over and over again. That's true. But outside the region, they don't stand a chance, especially against the Chinese teams. They lose all across the board. If you have like the NA teams going up against Virtus Pro and whatnot, they just get plowed like the rest. So I wouldn't necessarily say this only applies to CIS. This also applies to like Europe and NA. So we have regions that are really good against each other and really equal, but then they outrank each other on international level, you could say.
Okay. So what I want to see happen is I want to see, it is getting really dark here really fast. There must be a storm outside. I am sorry to our producer, but I might be able to open the blinds or something.
You're not the brightest, Dallas.
Yeah, right. So I've lost my train of thought. What I want to see happen is I want to see 3 NA teams qualify, come in massive into the international at the same time, like just to justify Valve's position here, and just shut everybody up on Reddit and everybody else that's complaining.
You know what I want to see? All right, let's 3 NA teams go through TTI, and then 2 of the 3 invited teams just straight up get eliminated in the group stage, because the bottom one in the group stage just immediately gets thrown out of the tournament. I really want to see that for NA happening, because I feel like NA is one of the weakest regions right now, even with the kind of new squads, but we don't really have data on them, so we can't really compare. We're going to come to that later. But 3 slots for NA is still, it's really shaky, if you ask me.
Okay.
There's something I want to highlight though. If we go back to the regional invites for a second, guess what? South America, not a single team is invited due to nobody being eligible. Meaning, we have 6 open qualifier slots, and it's an absolute open house. Nobody knows who's going to get into the closed. Nobody can even prepare for them, so we all have to wait for the opens. That's pretty exciting, I guess you could say. Like, you don't know. There could be anything. Like, maybe if you get lucky in the bracket. If you don't know, there's the qualifiers happening. There's 2 of them, SA1, SA2. In each of them, 3 of the teams get through. So the top 2 that win the semifinals get to the closed qualifiers, and the respective losers play best of 3 against each other and fight for the 3rd slot of each qualifier. Meaning you have 6 teams advancing. Just the fact that the top 2, I mean, if the first qualifier features like the big teams already making it through, then you potentially have some absolute underdog teams going through the close qualifiers.
All right. So one of the teams that is invited is creating a couple waves in the pond. That being Boom.
Oh yeah, the Boom story. Yeah, Boom is a little bit controversial. That was the last minute invite. So for the people that do not know what happened, is let's just say Boom got invited very last minute to the closed qualifiers. Nobody was expecting it. Nobody thought about them. There were a lot of drama already. Actually, there were 2 teams. SNG getting invited to the European one as well, but there's no drama attached. So no drama. It's Europe. But C qualifiers. All right. Only 5 open slots for the opens now. Meaning Boom gets the invite. Meaning, do they deserve it? I don't know. Because Boom is known for forfeiting in some of the tournaments. Some slightly bigger tournaments, you could say. Mainly missing out on the MDL Juncture Major regionals, as well as forfeiting a game against TNC in ESL 1 Birmingham.
See, a lot of people are taking that stance, being like, why are they getting invited? They forfeit matches that had DPC point potential. They just got out. Now, when you look at it from a business standpoint, they had an option of playing in those DPC point tournaments, or they could go play in a local LAN tournament with a more likely potential to be able to win money. From a business standpoint, it makes total sense. And at the same time, by winning that local LAN, it may give them a leg up when it comes to a situation like this where there's slots available to be gathered. They've been invited into these qualifiers to try and make their way into the international. So it ends up being water under the bridge. If you're a fan of Boom made the exact decision. I mean, they made the right choices. They made the choices that got them money, and they still have a potential to get into the international. If they were in, what was it, Birmingham or whatever qualifiers where they had DPC points on the line, no.
The chances of tournament for the fans, though. They might have just, you would be excited. Just imagine like you're an EG fan, they qualifying for some big tournament. Let's say the US Major 2019. Who knows? They would just withdraw.
But from all reality,
would be disappointed.
I mean, I don't know. I'm a much more black and white kind of person. I I see a move like that from a business, and it's a business move. It makes perfect sense. I mean, they took the path of least resistance and minimal risk and made it work. So they also got what they came for anyways. Were they going to get DPC points? Maybe. Not likely. Were they going to get
Not
enough
likely,
DPC points to qualify for anything? Definitely not. So why? You know, it's the same route of Na'Vi. Na'Vi's like, we're not going to get enough points. It's not likely. Let's just go back to square one and rebuild. That's what they did. And they have a chance.
With the difference that Na'Vi can't even win any local lands. But yeah, I know. I'm pretty torn on this. I feel like for the fans, it's the wrong decision. From a business point, you mentioned it. It's probably the right one. Still, do we want to set that precedence where teams just say, or teams can hold tournaments hostage in the future, saying like, hey, like you either do something like, or we have to choose between the terms again. I think where Valve is going with the fixed dates for the next DPC season is a great step in the right direction. I don't think this stuff will happen again because all these small local lands, they can take that into consideration now to not schedule their events over that. We still have some scheduling issues, no doubt, but they're not going to clash with the big tournaments anymore. So I guess that's fine in the end.
Okay. All right. Well, whether you like Boom's tactical moves or not, you'll be able to get to see more of their tactical moves on the field when it comes to the qualifiers. It's going to be for the fans at this point because there's nothing left in the season. There's no other lands for them to be like, well, let's go do this one instead. This is the international. They have a shot at it.
TI and then the next one we go on. I mean, maybe they make it through regionals. I don't really expect them to win anything in the regional. I think their competition is just too strong, especially with two slots. We're talking about Fnatic and TNC here, so they most likely will claim those spots.
Okay, that's Fnatic and who now?
And TNC Predator
TNC.
for SEA.
I don't know why I thought DMC, and I was like, Run DMC. I'm like, that's not a team name.
Close enough. We can make it one. Come on, we
Run
can still
DMC?
participate.
Yeah, we only pick
let's
fast heroes. We only pick fast heroes like Bloodseeker.
Darkseer only. Every game.
Well, is there anything more you'd like to touch on DPC summaries and TI invites?
Well, we could talk about Europe, but yeah, it's Europe. There's one slot for Europe. There's 5 in the open qualifiers. There's 4 teams that are absolutely equal. Final Tribe, Kinguin, Kingdra. It's pretty much a gamble who wins it. So some notable games there, but I don't expect any amazing competition out of Europe in the regionals. So most likely just the run by.
There was, let's see, the Final Tribe. I was actually interested to see. We got to at least see a little bit of them in Tarora. They were
a little bit
qualified out of
Super Major as well.
Made their way out of groups, came up, dropped out of the tournament. Sad.
Yeah, and then Super Major being absolutely fruitless for them, just getting limited at the first team at the competition. So I feel like Kinguin has a better chance in Europe out of the 3 teams we already know. Looking at Europe, there's not that many teams that are like even worth mentioning that are participating. The only one would be like the Forest Stag. I believe it's the Wind and Rain they're called. Other than that, you have teams like Alliance, Elements Pro Gaming, and London Esports, like on that kind of level. And there's the OG question. Because I don't know what to say about OG. I don't know if they have a chance at the regionals. I think the team formed a little bit too late in order to make a big impact. They're still gonna try, don't get me wrong. There's still some other notable stuff we're gonna talk about later, but the OG question is like, probably not. They have a really long way before them because they need to go through the opens and then they have to fight in the regionals, and there's decent competition that they have to beat.
Okay. All right. I think that's it for DPC and TI invite distributions. What I'm excited to talk about is actually the future of the DPC. I know it's going to be a small topic for us today, but I'm always more excited about this because this is more of like a managerial side of how Valve operates things. It seems to be a little bit underhanded, and they did sweep the rug out from underneath themselves a little bit with so many like NA invites, for example, that are coming through the qualifiers. I mean, it gives a lot of those teams EG made it. Is that right? But there's a lot of teams that were on the bubble now have a better shot at coming into it, and it kind of devalues the whole. It devalues the DPC as a whole. Everybody was like, go ahead.
Where's the exact reason we have the DPC in the first place? So right now we have the TI invites. 8 of them get invited. Great. The rest of teams did change up the roster, and they did change that for the future. So we can pretty much ignore like roster logs, whatnot in the future. But it feels like, why qualify for TI by DPC points if you're in a region with a lot of other strong teams, or teams that like Rican viewers or whatnot have a big brand to their name? You might as well just get through because of the amount of slots for your specific region.
Right.
So I'm not really a fan of it that they kind of said it last minute. Like we weren't even informed by Valve, and Valve always informs. They never ask or do something. They just they inform us of changes, and I feel like telling us at the end of the season, shortly before the TI qualifies, is a little bit too late, and that stirs up trouble. That's trouble we don't want.
Right. Well, let's think about it. From Valve's perspective, if they were to break the news saying that there's going to be 10 other teams that are invited on top of the 8 that were there, which every season there's teams that are invited through qualifiers, but not, I mean, the specifics are what everybody's a little bit upset about, is how many teams are coming in from what regions. If they were to announce that, let's say NA is going to have 3 extra slots available to them on top of the whoever made it in on the first line through the direct invites, does that affect the competition at all?
I don't think it would affect the competition that much. We might have the only thing I could see which is dangerous with like you're talking like before the DPC season, correct?
Yeah, before the season ends. I'm trying to figure out why they would wait to announce this.
You could say like after this TI, they would announce for the next DPC season we're gonna invite that many teams to that qualifier. That's what you mean, correct?
Yes.
So I feel like that might be a little bit risky in some certain way, because you might have teams on purpose moving into different regions because they know from the very get-go, hey, we're a European team. We know Europe is going to have 1 slot, and let's say South America will have 4 slots for some reason, and the team might just decide to move to SA because, well, we might not be the best team, but we might be the 3rd best team for certain, and they make the strategical decision. So I think that could be like one of the indicators.
I'm sure they've got some algorithm that runs at how many viewers are coming from each region, how many teams are competing in each region, what kind of the level of competition there is.
Wouldn't make sense to give CIS 1 slot though, then, because there is a lot of viewers in CIS.
It's true.
There's more than English speaking viewers. Like it's just like your pop games. There's just 60% more Russians than English speaking people. But
maybe from the NA side, it's Peruvians.
Or Spanish speaking people. You could say.
I don't get too many Russians.
Canadians, the worst.
Right, the worst. No, I don't get any Russians in the US East servers. You probably get them in Germany, but everybody has their own servers. But sometimes. I think you're onto a really good valid point. If a team knows that South America is more lucrative for them to be able to compete in, sure, they'll probably set up camp somewhere down there and say that's our best option with what team we have into making it to the international. I think you're right. You're right. I can see now why Valve would delay on the announcement.
So
but delay this long.
Solution? You could put it like in an envelope and make it publicly display, and you release it like with a, I don't know, like I feel like Valve is already doing now that they said it at the start of the season, but they don't tell us. The problem with that is, from their end, it looks absolutely transparent because, well, we don't do anything because it was already decided, but it doesn't prove it to us. However, if we get that information, teams might abuse it. So what's the middle ground?
No, teams will abuse it. Yeah.
Do you just flat say, hey, this region will get at least that many, and you slap some on top of that? That might be something. So you say, hey, this region will have 1 invite, this region will have 2 invites, and there will be 3 additional invites distributed on the regions, but we're not going to tell you yet. Maybe some middle ground, some hybrid system might be the solution to this.
Okay. Yeah, communication is probably key. There's
Yeah.
always going to be somebody that's upset, whether it's a group of people on Reddit or a group of people
looking at
from
you,
the
Reddit.
CIS region. It is always Reddit. But you're right. Probably some middle ground. Communication is always best. But there is always going to be some fanboy of some team that doesn't make his trip to the international. But that's too bad. That's tough cookies.
Can't happen to me. I'm a Liquid fan. Any last words? Dallas, you EG
future
fan?
of the DPC. Am I an EG fan?
You are. We both know
I
it.
wouldn't say.
What's your
I was-
favorite team? Come
I'm
on.
an EG fan 2 years ago. God, my
Nice.
favorite team. Probably don't have a favorite. Not one. I like Dire. I'm a Dire fan. There you go.
You're dying. I'm an Espada fan. I hope Espada makes it.
I'm a fan of Dire Advantage.
Wow, Dire doesn't even have an advantage.
Is it a Radiant Advantage now?
It's Radiant advantage, yeah. Radiant is OP.
Give back Roshan.
Totally.
Yeah, put Roshan right back
Old
where he used to
Pit.
be. Yeah, old Pit.
Yeah, it looked better.
Ah.
Like now there's some weird volcano in the middle of the river now for some reason. I don't even know why it's there. But hey, I guess balancing.
Well, that's his home. He's got to be where he belongs. I think I'm done with future of the DPC. I think Valve's making the right steps. This DPC system, I think, was a home run. I think it was a grand slam this year, and it's only going to get better.
Yeah, it needs improvement, and it's active improvement. Not only after every season. I feel like they have to at least some minor fixes throughout the season.
Oh yeah,
They
sure.
kind of they are doing that. It's not like they're not doing that. But
through the season is weird. If you make changes mid-season, people are going to really get upset with you. But
to be fair, they always get really upset with you. So Valve could probably ditch the entire DPC system after one major, and people will still it's the same reaction. But hey, that's Reddit for you.
Right. It is. Anyways, looks like let's take a little hop, skip, and a jump to our last topic. It's going to be the upcoming open qualifiers and which teams are going to be your favorites, or who to look out for, who not to look out for. Let's take a step into that world.
I would say we do this region by region, and you should
Sure.
start with Europe because you love Europe so much.
Yes, of course. I'm so familiar with European Dota. So they get one slot coming into those qualifiers. OG, Five Dogs, Alliance, Elements, IGX, London Esports, Wind and Rain, and Singularity are on your list.
Yeah, so four out of these will make it through the qualifiers. And that's just the 8 notable teams. There might still be some underdog teams, and
Sure.
if enough teams eliminate each other, and there might still be some signing up, there's still some time left, we might have some other squads, but these are the ones we actually find out. So, I don't know. My take would be OG should get a slot, right?
Yeah, I would agree.
I would say Singularity has a really solid chance on the second one.
Yeah, I would say I would love to see if Alliance could make
forget
a
what I
statement.
said. Singularity's already in. I forgot.
Okay.
They got invited. Yeah, that was.
Did it just now happen, or what?
Yeah,
Recently.
they were invited alongside Boom, and we talked about it earlier, and I forgot
Okay,
about
yeah.
it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would like to see the changes in Alliance. The fact that Qualifier comes in, right, for the position of Loda. Loda goes to coach. So this is hopefully an improved Alliance team, enough so that they can take that one slot. Or wait, yeah, they got one slot. I was thinking Singularity took that, but that was just that invite that you talked about.
Yeah, so one slot from the close to TI for Europe, as we talked about, and 4 of these make it to the close ones from these 7. So yeah, Alliance definitely makes one of them. I think they're still a team to not be completely undervalued. They have been struggling, but Loda as coach, I think they were boot camping so hard. Probably they practiced more than any other team, I think, in the last few months. And I feel like OG, Alliance, let's say Wind and Rain, the 4 of stack, has a good chance, and 5 Dogs. 5 Dogs Hey, remember when we talked about that? Do you remember that lineup we called?
Yep. I remember.
Madara Kaiser?
You had an inside source. It was in the bag.
In the bag, indeed. And I know that's the Mad Lads. That's the Mad Lads stack, and I feel like they have one of the slots in the back for the closed ones. They just have to. So 5 Dogs, OG, Alliance, and probably Wind and Rain.
Okay. All right. So moving out of Europe, let's move into CIS. That one slot that everybody thinks should be more than one. Who's going to come out on top?
Well, yeah, we have 6 teams that go through, and we have 6 notable teams here. So it's a little bit. It's kind of everybody you see on our handy list here, which includes Team Empire, Double Dimension, Team Spirit, Megalado, Navi, and Gambit. Probably make it through, and I would say one of them maybe has a misstep. Because there's 2 qualifiers, 3 of them get through in each of the qualifiers, 2 the closed qualifiers. We have 6 really good teams that stand above the rest. There's still teams like Espada and whatnot being able to throw a wrench in the plans and might screw that up a little bit. Trying to like I would probably say like Double Dimension and Gambit as well as Navi could fall victim to like an upcoming no-name team we don't know yet. That's very much of the qualifiers, but Empire, Megalado, and Team Spirit should be a safe bet.
Yeah, I'm really excited about Team Spirit. Illidan, G, DK Phobos. Is it Biver? Biver. And FNG.
Biver.
Biver. I'm gonna read them wrong.
Classic American.
Big fan of Illidan. If I'm not mistaken, Illidan was on Empire seasons ago, right? Correct.
Yeah, just
huge fan of Illidan.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like his playstyle that much, but he's definitely one of these influential players that shaped the scene throughout the years. So yeah, you could say that. CIS overall, there's not that many teams to compete, but hey, no-name teams happen, and especially CIS and China are probably the only regions that actually I would say where no-name teams have a chance because the scene is so stacked with talent.
Oh, Illidan, no. Illidan has, I'm going to correct myself. Illidan was not. He was not on Empire. He was always basically in the Virtus Pro, bouncing in and out of that one.
Oh, yeah. I swapped up Empire Virtus Pro. That's embarrassing.
Same thing. Different color.
Different color, yeah. Basically, you know, that CIS squad that wipes the floor with everybody.
Yeah.
And Empire trying to... Oh, will the Empire strike back? Oh, God. We heard that joke, like, so many times. Let's skip it, right?
Someone's going to abuse it. Yeah. But, I mean, out of all those teams, you mentioned Empire, Double Dimension, and Spirit. Which one do you think takes the slot?
Well, I think all of them will.
No, the one slot.
Oh, for the closed ones.
Yeah.
They have to go up against Vega Squadron and Fly to Moon. So if Vega plays up to their usual level, I think Vega might punch their ticket to TI. Empire has a solid chance, so I would say Vega or Empire.
Okay. All right, then. Let's move on to Southeast Asia. You've got Geek Fam, Rex Regum, Keon?
Rex Regum Queon.
Queon, okay.
Queon,
Execration.
I don't know. Nobody knows.
TNC Tiger, Clutch Gamers, Happy Feet, Battle Arena, and Entity Gaming. How do they stand out?
In Southeast Asia, 5 of the teams will go through because Boom ID just has been invited alongside Fnatic and TNC Predator. Meaning we have 5 of those will probably punch their ticket through. And again, disclaimer, this is just the notable teams list we have. There's still a lot of other teams on that list who might throw them out of the tournament if they get a lucky draft. It's all best of ones in the qualifier. You don't know what happened. If it's Broodmother, you might be screwed. And even a good team can lose a game to like a non-pro team that just plays in there as like a 6k stack. But just looking at the list, I would say there's 5 slots there, and we have a lot of teams. We have 8 teams here. I think Execration should be able to manage. Rex Regum with the Russman stack played really well in the last weeks. I think they have a solid chance. Geek Fam struggling a little bit. I would not put them on the list. You have the KYXY stack with TNC Tiger, so they probably make it through as well. Happy Feet, never to underestimate.
Wombo combo.
Happy Feet as the 4th team, and I would give the 5th slot to Entity with the black stack.
Black stack. Is that black? The black?
The black.
The black? Black
Yeah,
with
that
a
is
carrot?
correct.
Why is he so far down the list? I feel like black should be.
They didn't really prove themselves yet, and Entity has been struggling for quite some time. So there's not that much data yet. As far as I know, this is like ordered in how they signed up or in what order they signed up. So that might be the reason he's down there.
Okay. All right, into South America. You've got
South
Pain,
America.
Infamous,
Lots
INTZ,
of guesswork.
Midas. Yeah, there's a whole bunch I've never heard of here. Do I even recognize the players on the list?
You should.
Weehaw.
SA is Weehaw. SA is kind of a region that only recently did open up to other players from other nationalities. Usually teams did not like move there and whatnot. You see lots of moving between NA and Europe, or Europe and CIS, and like China. And see, that's pretty normal. But SA was always kind of included, not only to geographical concerns, but also because of the scene is still developing and was pretty set back. But we have not a single team invited to the closed qualifiers, so 6 out of these will go through, and these will be the teams that battled out to the very end for the 1 slot. My hot picks for this is definitely Pain Gaming, Infamous, and Midas Club. They will go through. They're miles and miles ahead of everybody else in the region right now, I would say. SG Esports definitely has a chance as the 4th slot, I'd say. Thunder Predator struggling a little bit. They are on roughly the same level as No Ping, but I imagine they have a really good shot at it. And then there is the GDV, the Fear and Kyle stack. 2 NA iconic players moving over to SA and compete there, with Tomato and Moose and Greedy. So that is a really tough stack. I think they have a definite chance, even though they haven't proven themselves yet.
With Pain Gaming's performance at ESO in Birmingham, I don't know. I mean, I see Pain all day. That's all I see is Pain out of that list of teams that you put up there. It's just Pain Gaming.
Pain will be in the finals for the SA closed qualifiers. Mark my words. That's just a no-brainer. They have to be. They're miles away over everybody else. Midas Club and Famous following after, but I haven't seen that much from GDV yet.
Okay. All right. Let's go to North America. Is there any controversy here, or what do you got?
Well, North America, we have 3 slots. We have those 3 slots. Keep in mind. Invited to the closed qualifiers already are Optic Gaming and Immortals. On top of that, out of the 6 slots, I mean, we guess that VGJ Storm, EG, and Complexity, they gotta get 3 of them. No, there's no discussion now. They're gonna get through. They're gonna qualify, and then we have 5 of the 8 slots filled. But that leaves us with 3 slots. And there isn't many teams in there. For the first qualifier, there's only 30 teams signed up right now. So if you have 4 NA friends, I know you don't have many friends, Dallas, but you can try. You can sign up for NA, because there's only 30 teams there. So, like, if you play at least remotely good Dota, you have a chance. Sorry, Dallas, you don't have a chance after all.
No.
But there is the IX Mike stack, which I don't have a roster for right now, which I'm looking out for though. I think IX Mike is still somebody to be reckoned with. Not the strongest player anymore. I'm not going to say washed up. That would be disrespectful. But he kind of more focusing like on team building, I'd say, and it didn't work out so far. The ex-Leviathan stack, or some of the players is already competing. But again, haven't seen anything from them in quite a while, so I can't really predict them going through. So still, like, the last 3 slots are open for Gabble, and one team I'm also a little bit familiar with is the CCCC, upcoming NA stack, at least in Joint Dota League and some others. What are you laughing at?
Chef Curry Culinary Club. I like it. Considering it's an NA team, I almost wish that it was like CCCP. And then I'd be like, all right,
no.
I like these guys. These guys go against the grain.
That would be... That's taking it one step too far, I'd say. Just slightly. Wow. But yeah, they have upcoming players, Paradise, as well as Chef Curry. Decent divine leaderboards players. I feel like they can pack a punch, but I don't want to be too biased. I think they have a chance.
Okay. All right. And then out of North America, let's move on into China. What do you got
China,
here?
we go. Oh yeah, we have China. Only IG already waiting to slaughter then whoever goes through the qualifiers. 6 slots open for grabs for the closed qualifiers and 8 teams on our handy list. Meaning Keen Gaming, LFY, eHome, CDEC or CDEC, IG Vitality, Sun Gaming, T-Max, and Taichi Gaming. And I gotta give credit here. I was helped out by B Corp or B Corp Casting quite a lot with this list because he's a China expert. So looking at the Chinese scene right now, I think LFY is a no-brainer. They always kind of deliver in qualifiers. They never actually get the direct invites, but they always deliver in the qualifiers, which is a little bit weird. But LFY, CDEC, and IG Vitality should be grabbing 3 of the 6 slots.
Okay.
Just because they're not miles ahead, but they're doing pretty good. Keen Gaming has to establish themselves against them. Keen Gaming did it before. They did manage to throw LFY and LGD even out of the arena ever so often. Same with IG Vitality and CDEC. Like Keen Gaming is a big deal to watch out for.
Yeah, I'm excited to see eHome back on the list, dude. It's been a long time. God, what was that? International 1, 2 with eHome?
2, 2, and 3. Yeah, but. I'm not sure. I'm not a fan of eHome with the current roster. They haven't been delivering at all. They have been completely outclassed. I don't think the team synergies that did even adopt less. Because we talked about this before, that China has a really passive, calculated style where you have your BKB timings, you push down the lane, and you kind of have to evolve away from that. Focusing more around the early mid game. Chinese teams usually don't like that early mid game, with the exception of LGD adopting perfectly to it. But eHome is not really in a position where they really adopted that much, and I think they still have a lot to adjust. But hey, maybe we see a surprise. It's open qualifiers. It's best of ones. You never know.
Yeah, best of ones always leave room for a dark horse to come in and make a run. I mean, oh God, what was that team? CDEC? International 6 that made a huge run, a deep run to the finals of the International. I gotta type this in. CDEC Gaming. There it is. 2015. Underdogs, completely. Underdogs to everything. Went all the way to second place.
Got second. Back when EG was a good team.
Real. Dude, how EG, like what happens when you're a team that's like, hey, the underdogs just won on the other side of the bracket. That means we got easier work later. And then that team, that underdog continues to win and win and win. You're like, what? We didn't prepare for these guys. We did all our homework against LGD and Vichy and like
CD who?
Yeah, right. Like we don't have any knowledge of how they draft. It's just a cram fest, but EG did manage to beat them. I can't remember how that grand final went, but it didn't. I don't think it. I don't think it was
3, 1 to 3 for EG.
Yeah, I didn't think it was very competitive. So EG just kind of was wondering why they were beating everybody else.
They were on a roll. Yeah, they were like in the VP position, you could say.
Yeah. So I mean, these best of ones lead to a lot of upsets, is what my point was, and it'll be beautiful to see that play out again because it will happen again. Seems to happen every year. Maybe not as big as CDEC's, but it'll happen.
I think Sun Gaming has a chance. They have both Blink and Ice in there, Wings players. I feel like they have a solid chance, but I gotta admit I didn't keep track of them too much. But they definitely they should be able to claim at least like slot 4 or 5 maybe.
Okay. All right. Well. Anything further on the quals and who to look for? I mean, we've talked about all that. Anything more?
I mean, 2DNA teams, please sign up. It's only 30 teams. At least give us some games to watch. Because there won't be many.
But only do it if you're say above 6k MMR.
No. You grab your full Crusader friends. That's fine. You go to the open qualifiers and you just run Husker across the board. You go Husker, Drow Ranger, you pick that Brute Mother, you pick that Beastmaster combination with Wisp, and just run down lane. Doesn't matter if your opponent is better. If you have a Brute Mother and they don't have a counter, you win the game. You go for that Brute, you go for that Husker.
Go hard in the paint strat. All 5 down mid, all game until
Techies
you either
across
win or
the board.
lose. Techies.
Techies, Husker, Drow. Drow strat with Techies and Husker. Go.
All that right click damage from a Drow Ranger Techies. Oof. Right?
He has that.
He can almost last hit. Yeah, he has the level. Is it still level 25 talent of 250 damage? A ways to go for that one.
Excuse me. 251.
Oh, of course. I'm sorry. 251. Apologize.
How you like them round numbers?
Right? He still doesn't hit hard at that point. It's like what happens? Where's plus 250? But 250. I mean, you have armor. It's just like meh. What's a techie's got? He's not building.
That's where you
right
get the Desolator.
Yeah. Okay. Then yeah, 250 starts to feel a lot more like 250 at that point. But I think
please
that's
sign up for an A.
Yeah, please sign up. We want to see more competition come to the field and more serious sign-ups, because you and I both know how many games we've tried to cast and just ended up being a forfeit match because team didn't show up. It happens all the time. Hello?
I'm still there, yeah.
Did you forfeit me?
I thought you were done.
No,
I didn't
we
forfeit.
can finish, though. I thought you forfeit, and I was alone again, as always.
I know. Forfeits happen.
Yeah.
Looking at you, Boom. Get us through some shade at them. Come on.
All right, ladies and gents, that's going to conclude our show. But yes, keep an eye on all the underdogs coming in through the open qualifiers. And congratulations to the teams that finished out in the top 8 in the DPC. But that'll be the end of the day. I'm Topical at Topical_TV. And my co-host over here, Jonas, at Bottom of the _moon. You guys can follow us on Twitter. We'll be back next week. Same bat time, same bat place.